Joining. I'll start with the prayers. Om Gyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Pitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinbandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kirpa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you everyone for joining. I seek your blessings and I pray that keeping Krishna in the center, I can sincerely and humbly share with you these two verses today. And please forgive me if I say anything wrong. So we are continuing reading the teachings of Queen Kunti. Today we'll be discussing verses 11 and 12. So starting with, so I'll just share when I read these verses, I'll just share like how I understood them. So I'll just share those things with you today. So Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 28. Manya tvam kalamishanam anadhi nidanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam yanmitha kali. Translation: My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the Supreme Controller without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Kunti Devi knew that Krishna was neither her nephew nor an ordinary family member of her paternal house. She knew perfectly well that Krishna is the primeval Lord who lives in everyone's heart as the super soul, Paramatma. Another name of the Paramatma feature of the Lord is Kal, or eternal time. Eternal time is the witness of all our actions, good and bad, and thus resultant reactions are destined by Him. It is no use saying that we do not know why and for what we are suffering. We may forget the misdeed for which we may suffer at this present moment, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion, and therefore He knows everything, past, present, and future. And because the Paramatma feature of Lord Krishna destines all actions and reactions, He is a supreme controller also. Without His sanction, not a blade of grass can move. The living beings are given as much freedom as they deserve, and misuse of that freedom is the cause of suffering. The devotees of the Lord do not misuse their freedom, and therefore they are the good sons of the Lord. Others who misuse freedom are put into miseries destined by eternal Kal. The Kal offers the conditioned souls both happiness and miseries. It is all predestined by eternal time. As we have miseries uncalled for, so we may have happiness also without being asked, for they are all predestined by Kal. No one is therefore either an enemy or friend of the Lord. Everyone is suffering and enjoying the result of his own destiny. This destiny is made by the living beings in course of social intercourse. Everyone here wants to lord it over the material nature, and thus everyone creates his own destiny under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. He is all pervading, and therefore he can see everyone's activities. And because the Lord has no beginning or end, he is known also as the eternal time, Kala. So here Queen Kunti, Mother Kunti, she says to Lord Krishna while praying that, my Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time. Manyatvam kalam ishana anadi nidanam vibhum. So we have a past, present, and future because we change from one body to another. The body we have now is dated. And at a certain date, I was born of my father and mother, and now this body will stay for some time. It will grow, it will produce some byproducts, then it will become old and dwindle, and then vanish. And then I shall have to accept another body. When the past, present, and future of my present body are finished, I shall accept another body. And again, my past, present, and future will begin. But Krishna, he has no past, no present, or future because he does not change his body. That is the difference between ourselves and Krishna. We also read in Krishna book that when Aghasura was killed and the Gopas and Krishna decided to have lunch together, and this news went to the heavenly planets, the demigods, they were astonished. Lord Brahma, he wanted to see who could kill this mighty demon like Aghasur, and he came back and he saw a little child. So he was little doubtful that is he really the supreme personality of Godhead? So he wanted to test Krishna. So he took away the calves, and when they could not see the calves, the Gopas became anxious. And then Krishna said that you guys eat lunch and I'll just go and look for the calves. Don't worry, I'll find them. But when Krishna went to look for the calves, he couldn't see the calves. And when he came back, he couldn't see the cowherd boys as well. He couldn't see his friends as well. Why? Because the calves and the cowherd boys both were captured by Lord Brahma. After one moment of Brahma's calculation, Brahma came back to see the fun caused by his stealing the boys and calves. But he was also afraid that he was playing with fire. After all, what if Krishna is really the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Krishna was his master after all, and he had played mischief for fun by taking away his calves and boys. He was really anxious, so he did not stay away very long. He came back after a moment by his calculation, after one moment of Brahma's. And on earth, it was exactly 1 year. So time is relative. If we see here, like Brahma's one moment is 1 year on this planet, what to speak of Krishna's one moment? So a small insect's measurement of past, present, and future is different from our past, present, and future. And similarly, the past, present, and future of Brahma, the chief creative living being within this universe, are different from ours. But Krishna has no present, no past or future. Therefore, he is eternal. And that's why Queen Kunti says, my dear Lord, I consider your lordship to be eternal time, Kala, which has no beginning, no end. And in Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna says to Arjuna, in the past millions of years ago, I spoke this philosophy of Bhagavad Gita to the sun god. And Arjuna, very confusingly, he asked, Krishna, we are contemporaries. And since we were born at practically the same time, how can I believe that you spoke this philosophy so long ago to the sun god? And then Krishna replies, my dear Arjun, you are also present then, but you have forgotten, whereas I have not. That is the difference. Past, present, and future pertain to persons who forget But for one who does not forget, who lives eternally, there is no past, present, or future, and that is Krishna. And Queen Kunti, very rightly, she prays and meditates while praying, saying to Krishna, Manya Tvam Kalam Ishanam Anadi Nidhanam Vibho. And then she says, Samam Charantam Sarvatra. She says that in distributing your mercy, my Lord, you are equal to everyone. Samam Charantam Sarvatra. To understand this mood of Queen Kunti, let's go to a pastime. So there was one lady, her name was Ratnamala. In her previous Ratnamala, so in Srimad Bhagavatam we read that when Lord Vamandev, he took away everything from Bali Maharaj. So Ratnamala was the sister of Bali Maharaj. And when Lord Vamandev came into the assembly in Bali Maharaj's palace, everyone was astonished. They were really awestruck to see the beauty of Vamandev. It was like many suns have come together. He was so effulgent. And when Ratnamala, the sister of Bali Maharaj, she saw this beautiful little boy, she became overwhelmed with her motherly affection and maternal feelings towards the Lord. Understanding her desire, the Lord spoke to her, giving her the benediction that in the next life, she would be able to breastfeed him, suckle him just like a mother. And as we read that, Ye yatha mam prapadante. So Krishna, he reciprocates as we approach him. And Queen Kunti, she is saying here that in distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. But here we can say that since she has such a nice desire, Krishna reciprocated. What if she would have, desire other than that? Which happened actually shortly after that. So when Lord Vamandev, he took the whole universe from Bali Maharaj, Ratnamala mode of attraction for the Lord changed into one of hatred within her mind. She thought, perhaps I will have you as my son and breastfeed you, but if I do, I will then kill you. And Lord is, of course, being so merciful to everyone, he gave her that benediction also, be it so. And to further see how this benediction got fulfilled, let's go to Vrindavan. So when Lord Krishna, he appeared, and Kamsa knew that the 8th child of Devaki is already there. So after consulting his demoniac ministers, Kamsa instructed a demoness named Putna, who knew the black art of killing small children. So she was going town to town, villages to villages, killing small children, eating them, drinking their blood, disguising herself and performing atrocities. And after Nandotsav was celebrated, it was not a hidden fact that there is a new baby born in Vrindavan. So dressing herself just like a beautiful woman, she entered the house of Yashoda Maiya. She was glancing at everyone with attractive looks and smiling face, and all the Brajvasis, they were captivated. The innocent gopis, that they thought that, she is the goddess of fortune, or maybe a sage who has come in disguise to bless our Gopal. But she was a sword within a decorated case. And when she looked at Krishna, Krishna closed his eyes. We read in Krishna book that it is said, Krishna, various commentaries on that Krishna closed his eyes because she was killing children after children and Krishna didn't want to look at her. We read that Krishna thought that, she is just like my nurse. So he closed his eyes. But Putna, he could see in the eyes of Krishna that this baby has some power. He has the capability to destroy the whole universe. So she hesitated to take the baby on her lap because something extraordinary was being dictated to her from within. And that in order to give her assurance, Krishna closed his eyes so that she would not be frightened. And when she took Krishna on her lap, Yashoda Maiya and Rohini Maiya, both were present there. And they did not forbid her. Why? Because they thought she's so beautifully dressed and showing motherly affection towards our Gopal. so they did not forbid her. But Putna had smeared a very powerful poison on her breast. That powerful poison was so strong that anyone who would go near it would die immediately. It wasn't like a slow poison. So she was hoping that as soon as Krishna would suck her breast, he would die. But baby Krishna, even in the lap of that demoness, he was the supreme personality of Godhead. So not only he sucked that poison, he induced milk to flow from her. So he drank the milk, he sucked the poison, and he also sucked the life air out of her. Krishna is so merciful that because the demon Putna, so this Putna is Ratnamala, who was Putna in her previous life was Ratnamala, the sister of Bali Maharaj. As we heard that she asked for the Lord that if I'll breastfeed you, I'll also kill you. And Lord very mercifully reciprocated. And he allowed her to enter Vrindavan and breastfeed him with the intention of killing him. And Lord fulfilled her desire. And when Krishna sucked her life out of her breast, she was shouting, "Oh child, leave me, leave me, leave me." And she died screaming. There was a tremendous vibration on the earth and in the sky. In all the planets, upper and lower planets, in all directions. And people thought that thunderbolts were falling. And then she assumed she came into her real form of demoness, a great demon. So she opened her fierce mouth and spread her arms and legs all over. The long hair on her head was scattered all over her body. And her body, which extended up to 12 miles, fell in Vrindavan. But Krishna, being the supreme personality of Godhead, he so dramatically arranged that she happened to run to a big fruit orchard that was very dear to Kamsa. So when the cowherd men, they came back after paying taxes in Mathura to Kamsa government, and they saw the body of Putna and they heard what had happened. They were astonished, they were astounded, and they were so shocked, and they were so happy that Krishna is safe. So they chopped up her body and they burnt it. And the smoke that came out was so fragrant, like nectar. Why? Because Krishna drank milk from her. That means she was a Mahaprasad. Krishna is so special that he made her whole 12-mile body into a Mahaprasad. Then when they burnt it, it smelled, and whoever smelt it, they just became purified. And Krishna reciprocated by giving her liberation of being his own mother eternally in the spiritual world. Krishna said that this demoniac woman came to kill me, but somehow or other I have sucked her breast milk. So she is my mother. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhava says to Vidura, since Krishna is such a kind God, this demon, this so atrocious, so vicious demoness came to kill Krishna. He gave her liberation. He gave her the place of his own mother in the spiritual world. Since Krishna is such a kind God, whom else shall I worship but Krishna? And therefore, Queen Kunti here saying, Samam Charantam Sarvatra, in distributing your mercy, my Lord, you are equal to everyone. And we see in this pastime of Ratnamala, who came as Putna, that how merciful Krishna is. However she wanted, Krishna reciprocated and gave her mercy to her. So Krishna's impartiality is compared to that of the sun. The sun does not consider, here is a poor man, here is a low-class man, here is an animal, I shall not distribute my sunshine to them. No, the sun is equal toward all. And one simply has to take advantage of it. The sunshine is available, but if we close our doors and want to keep ourselves in darkness, that is our decision. Similarly, Krishna is everywhere. Krishna is for everyone, and Krishna is ready to accept us as soon as we surrender. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita as well, even though one may supposedly be of a lower class, that doesn't matter. If he surrenders to me, he is also eligible to come back home, back to Godhead. And that's why Queen Kunti very nicely, she prays that Manyatvam kalam ishanam anati nidhanam vipum samam charantam sarvatra. So now she says after that, Bhutanam Yanmitha Kali. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. So far, she said that, my dear Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time without any beginning or end. And in distributing your mercy, my Lord, you are equal to everyone. And now she says, Bhutanam Yan Mithakali. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. And to understand what her mood or what she is meditating on, let's again go to Vrindavan and let's hear another pastime. So when Krishna was 1 year old, it was around the time of his first birthday, the first Janmashtami. There was big ceremony, big celebration. And one day, shortly after the celebration, the ceremony, Yashoda Maiya was petting baby Krishna. And suddenly he felt so heavy. She was not able to carry him and she had to unwillingly place him on the ground. And she prayed to Lord Narayan that, my dear Lord, what is happening to my Gopal? Is he not well? How can he become suddenly so heavy? And then there were so many Brahmanas. She prayed for the well-being of Krishna to Lord Narayan. And since there were like so many Brahmanas, so many guests to attend, so she had to do the household affair. So she went and got engaged in them. And at that time, a servant of Kamsa's, known as Trinavarta, as instructed by Kamsa, appeared there in the shape of whirlwind. So Krishna wanted to have a ride. He wanted to go up in the sky, look at Vrindavan, give his darshan to demigods. So Trinavarta came and he was very happy. Let him come, let him come. So when he came, Trinavarta picked little Gopal on his shoulders, and Krishna assumed, who was so heavy before, he assumed the weight of a tiny feather. And Trinavarta thought, oh, this baby comes as in to kill me. I can do this very quickly. And when Trinavarta came, he took Krishna on his shoulder and he went up and up in the sky. But when he entered into Vrindavan, it was so dusty, the whirlwind was so strong that not even 1 inch in front of them, the Vrajvasis could see. They could not see themselves, they could not see anyone else. It was completely filled with dust. So when Yashoda Maiya could not see, she came back and could not see her Gopal. She fell down on the ground, exactly like a cow who has just lost her calf. And when Yashoda Maiya was crying so piteously, all the gopis, they began to look for baby Krishna. But they could not find him. And Trinavarta, he went high into the sky with Gopal on his shoulder. And then Krishna assumed the weight suddenly as heavy as mountain, and Trinavarta could not go any further. And he had to stop his whirlwind activities. Krishna, he made himself so heavy and began to weigh down the demon, catching hold of his neck with his tiny little palms, little hands. He held on to the neck of Trinavarta. And Trinavarta felt Krishna to be as heavy as big mountain, and he tried to get out of the clutches, but he was unable to do so. And Krishna squeezed and squeezed, and Trinavarta, he cried and cried, and his eyes popped out from their sockets, crying very fiercely. He fell down to the ground of Vrindavan and he died. And Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so nicely arranged that out of so many great pastures in Vrindavan where cows and calves were being herd, the houses of Rajvasis, beautiful forest, Krishna aimed Trinavarta in such a way that he hit a solid stone slab and his limbs were smashed and he died. And when the Vrajvasis, they saw Krishna, and they were so anxious that our Gopal was in the hands of this demon. And when they saw Krishna alive, they were so happy. They performed rituals, they prayed, they called Brahmanas to chant mantras, and they prayed to Lord Narayan. They were so happy to see Krishna alive. But Queen Kunti, she's praying here that Bhutanam Yan Mithakali, that dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. So what this pastime has to do with what Queen Kunti is praying? Let's find out. So in the spiritual world, when Trinavarta came, dust was filled in the eyes of Yashoda Maiya and she could not see Krishna. Similarly, in this perverted material world, which is perverted reflection of spiritual world, in our lives, this kind of dust from whirlwind enters in the form of speculation. When speculation enters in Krishna consciousness, Krishna will be gone. When our mind sometimes does not hear from our acharyas, from Guru Parampara, then we speculate, maybe this, maybe that, and that takes away Krishna. Our eyes, they get covered and we are fooled by our own mind that can justify anything. And also in this pastime, we see when the gopis, their eyes were also filled, they could not see themselves, they could not see anyone else as well. Similarly, so when their eyes were filled with dust, so they were like, why you didn't take care of Krishna? Why Yashoda Maiya? Why did you put Krishna down? Hey, they were saying this to each other. Hey, why didn't you take care of Krishna like that? They were so in spiritual anxiety and so much love for Krishna was coming out of them. But for us, as Queen Kunti is praying here, that the social intercourse causes dissension between us. So what is that dissension here that we can learn in this material world? The lesson we can learn here is, for example, when devotees, they come together as a community in any place, initially 5 devotees, 10 devotees, 20, 30, like that. And the preacher, he is preaching very nicely. The devotees are very happy in getting association with each other. They are enthusiastic. They are simple, they are innocent. They start chanting, slowly increase to 16 rounds. But soon in neophyte stage, devotees like me, they start finding faults in each other. And if something goes wrong, they're like, why did you do it? I didn't do it. He did it. She did it. Like that, we started finding fault in each other. And same dust fills in our eyes. This kind of social intercourse leads to dissension between each other. As Queen Kunti says, Bhutanam yan mithakali. This leads to cut off from each other. We cannot gel. We cannot work cooperatively with each other. We cannot see that I am not that great, and we cannot see how great the others are. I would like to share a quote from His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He said that great souls, they see smallness in themselves and greatness in others. Small-minded souls see greatness in themselves and smallness in others. So because of such type of wrong vision, what happens when that is just an example that I'm giving, that we start a community. So what happens when a community is started and enthusiastically everyone is going in, so that individual pride, that fault finding, that dust, that dissension that has occurred due to the social intercourses, due to our own anarthas, eventually lead to quarrels and misunderstanding with each other. And at that time, whirlwind situation comes, Tirnavarta comes in our life because of that individual pride and takes away Krishna from the community. And people become dry in their spiritual life. And they become devoid of Krishna. And when people become devoid of Krishna, they become depressed. Consider a ring, like a gold ring with a blue diamond at the top of it. So when you remove the diamond, there is always a depression that you can see on the ring. So similarly, the gold ring is we, the souls, the jivas, and that blue, beautiful diamond is Krishna. So when Krishna goes away, that depression in the lives of the gold jivas, the souls, depression comes because of Krishna who is missing. So what to do to bring back Krishna? Krishna has to be brought back, right? We cannot live without Krishna. So when all such things happen, we are actually humbled. We see our insignificance. We see that we are not so great. We come together, we have to serve cooperatively and please Krishna. And we have to always remember that Trinadapi Sunichana, Taroriva Sahishnuna, Amanina Mandena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. So sometimes due to, as Queen Kunti says, due to social intercourse, the dissensions that occur, we may think that I am enjoying this, oh, I am not enjoying that. And further, the separation between living entities, it is more and more. So whether I enjoy or whether I suffer, important is, do I carry on with my devotional service with enthusiasm? And that consciousness brings Krishna back into our lives. So the main thing is that, am I offending devotees? If I am, Krishna is not enjoying. It's not that I am enjoying or not. Krishna is not enjoying. Am I disrespecting people? If I am, then Krishna is not enjoying. Am I complaining about things that are always happening to me? If I am, then Krishna is not enjoying this. So what should I do? I must live my life as a Vaishnava, as a devotee, with respect, with determination, with enthusiasm, with gratitude, with humility. And Krishna will enjoy. And Krishna's enjoyment is going to bring back Krishna in our lives and bring us back to Godhead, back to Krishna. Not whether I am enjoying or I am not enjoying. And if we enjoy giving Krishna enjoyment, that gives the greatest enjoyment to Krishna. So that's what pleases Krishna. And this is how, when I read this verse, I was kind of thinking of this pastime, and I'm just sharing that with you all. And if you see like how amazingly she prays, right? Manyatvam kalam ishanam anadi nidanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam yanmithakali. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. And we saw it like how Krishna has no body and he has no past, no present, no future. Then she says, in distributing your mercy, my Lord, you are equal to everyone. We saw how Ratnamala, she approached Krishna. She asked that she want to breastfeed Krishna like a mother. And then when the Lord took everything from Bali Maharaj, she then asked, but I will kill you. And then Lord very nicely, very sweetly, he reciprocated, because he just wants our happiness. So he's so merciful and equal to us. And then she says, Queen Kunti says, the dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. And we saw like how Trinavarta, he comes in our lives and causes those dissensions. With that being said, let's move to next verse. Canto 1, chapter 8, verse 29. Naveda kaschet bhagavams chikarshatam taveha manasya nirnam vidambanam nayasya kaschet daito vasti karhijit dveshascha yasmin vishamatir nirna. Oh Lord, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes, which appear to be human and so are misleading. You have no specific object of favor, nor do you have any object of envy. People only imagine that you are partial. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Lord's mercy upon the fallen souls is equally distributed. He has no one as the specific object of hostility. The very conception of the personality of Godhead as a human being is misleading. His pastimes appear to be exactly like a human being's, but actually they are transcendental and without any tinge of material contamination. He is undoubtedly known as partial to his pure devotees, but in fact, he is never partial. As much as the sun is never partial to anyone. By utilizing the sun rays, sometimes even the stones become valuable, whereas a blind man cannot see the sun, although there are enough sun rays before him. Darkness and light are two opposite conceptions, but this does not mean that the sun is partial in distributing its rays. The sun rays are open to everyone, but the capacities of the receptacles differ. Foolish people think that devotional service is flattering the Lord to get special mercy. Factually, the pure devotees who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord are not a mercantile community, A mercantile house renders service to someone in exchange for values. The pure devotees does not render service unto the Lord for such exchange, and therefore the full mercy of the Lord is open for him. Suffering men, needy men, inquisitive persons, or philosophers make temporary connections with the Lord to serve a particular purpose. When the purpose is served, there is no more relation with the Lord. A suffering man, if he is pious at all, prays to the Lord for his recovery. But as soon as the recovery is over, in most cases, the suffering man no longer cares to keep any connection with the Lord. The mercy of the Lord is open for him, but he is reluctant to receive it. That is the difference between a pure devotee and a mixed devotee. Those who are completely against the service of the Lord are considered to be in abject darkness. Those who ask for Lord's favor only at the time of necessity are partial recipients of the mercy of the Lord. And those who are 100% engaged in the service of the Lord are full recipients of the mercy of the Lord. Such partiality in receiving the Lord's mercy is relative to the recipient, and it is not due to the partiality of the all-merciful Lord. When the Lord descends to this material world by his all-merciful energy, he plays like a human being, and therefore it appears that the Lord is partial to his devotees only. But that is not a fact. Despite such apparent manifestation of partiality, his mercy is equally distributed. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, all persons who died in the fight before the presence of the Lord got salvation without the necessary qualifications. Why? Because death before the presence of the Lord purifies the passing soul from the effects of all sins. And therefore the dying man gets a place somewhere in the transcendental abode. Somehow or other, if someone puts himself open in the sun rays, he is sure to get the requisite benefit both by heat and by ultraviolet rays. Therefore, the conclusion is that the Lord is never partial. It is wrong for the people in general to think of him as partial. So here in this verse, Queen Kunti says, your appearance in this material world is misleading, bewildering. So we think Krishna has some mission, some purpose, and therefore he has appeared. No, it is for his pastimes that he appears. For example, sometimes a governor, he goes to inspect a prison. He gets report from the prison superintendent. He's already getting the report. So he has no business going there. But still, he sometimes goes thinking, let me see how they are doing. This may be called a pastime because he is going by his free will. It is not that he has become subject. The governor has become, while visiting the prison, he has become the subject to the laws of the prison. But still, a foolish prisoner may think, oh, here the governor is also in prison. So we are equal. Now he is also a prisoner. Or I am also a governor. Rascals think like that. Because Krishna has descended as an avatar, they say, I am also an avatar. But in this verse we read, it is said that Naveda Kaschit Bhagavam Stikashitam. No one knows the purpose of your appearance and disappearance. The Vehamanasya Nirnam Vidamnam. The Lord's pastimes are bewildering. No one can understand their real purpose. In the book Teachings of Queen Kunti, this verse is in the chapter 12, which is titled as Bewildering Pastimes. And after reading the purport and seeing what Queen Kunti is praying, let's try to understand that what are those bewildering pastimes. And to understand those, let's go to Vrindavan again. So when Krishna, he's, before his appearance, he appears to Vasudeva and Devki Maiya. He tells them that he's going to descend as their son and they should not be afraid of Kamsa anymore. And Devki Maiya, she becomes very effulgent as if millions of sun have come to one place. And then demigods, they start coming and they start worshipping. They form very auspicious constellations. And Krishna appears with his curly hairs, not crying like a baby does when in this world when it appears, it is born. And the shackles which were tied to Vasudev when they were opened, the gatekeepers, the guards, they went into deep sleep. The doors were open, and everything was just happening one after another. This is happening when Krishna appeared in this world. Isn't it bewildering? Because sometimes we see that Krishna has appeared from the womb of Devaki Maya. So he's just like us, who has to take birth, he has to die also. So Krishna is just like us. He also doing the activities, and when he came, his pastimes are also just like us. So that is so bewildering. Then how can be Supreme Personality of Godhead? So the question here is that did any of us were born like that? Did all these events ever happen to any other kid in this world? Did that happen to any kid that they appeared to their mom and dad that, hey, mom and dad, I'm gonna come very soon, and don't worry, I'll take care of all the expenses, I'll get a good job and just pay the bills, so don't worry. Or our mothers, did they become very effulgent? Or did demigods came to worship? Even not that, did demigods, they form a auspicious constellations. Sun god, please stand there. Moon god, please stand there. We have to welcome, Vishal Prabhu, Karan Prabhu, they are going to appear, we have to welcome. Nothing like that happened. Krishna, he appeared the way he wanted to, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Narasimha Devi appeared from a pillar. Varaha Devi appeared from the nose of Lord Brahma. So Krishna can appear however he wants. So continuing that, the bewildering pastime of the Lord. Now Krishna wakes up early in the morning, and Yashoda Maya very nicely, she cleans him, she bathes him. But wait. She is cleaning him. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is supremely pure. And how to understand this, that Yashoda Maya is cleaning Krishna. That means he is dirty. And now how can he be dirty? So bewildering, right? As Queen Kunti prays, your pastimes are so bewildering, so misleading. So Krishna is supremely pure. He's infinitely, eternally pure. He's so pure that anyone in any way want to connect with him, they become purified immediately. Even the most wicked demon, Putna, Tirnavarta, when they came in contact with Krishna, they achieved liberation. So how could the Supreme Pure ever be dirty? Krishna is never dirty. But still, when Krishna and Balram, as a little child, they appeared in this world, they were crawling and crawling through the mud of Vrindavan. And when Yashoda Maya, Rohini Maya, they would lift them up, they see their clothes were actually that dirt of Vrindavan, which was moistened with the cow dungs and urine of cow and calves. So that's why they used to clean both of them very nicely every morning. And sometimes Krishna, Balram, they would be crawling and they would see a little calf, and Krishna would grab the tail of one calf, and Balram would hold on to the tail of another calf, and the calf would become so afraid. Who's pulling my tail? And because it is behind the calf, so the calf would jump up and started running it. Krishna and Balram, as little babies, little Gopal, they were crawling and crawling. So they became afraid because the calf was moving so fast. They were afraid to let go of the calf's tail. They were afraid. Did you notice that? They were afraid when the calf was moving so fast and they could not let go of the calf's tail. He is Supreme Personality of God and he is afraid. So bewildering. And in the coming verses, we'll see that Queen Kunti, she will pray that, my dear Lord, you are feared by the fear personified. And here we are seeing Krishna is afraid by holding a tail of a cow. And in Bhagavad Gita, we see that the expansion of temporary expansion of Krishna, which is the universal form, which is the Virata Rupa, when the most fearless warrior in this universe, Arjuna, when he sees that form, he becomes very fearful. He becomes afraid. He says like, my dear Lord, please take this form away. I just want to see my friend again. He wanted to see Krishna back again. But Krishna here holding the calf's tail, he's afraid. Is he pretending to be afraid? He is afraid actually, but he is not afraid also. Krishna can do anything he likes. He is Achyuta, he is inexhaustible. He is Ananta, he is infinite. He is Achintya, he is inconceivable. He is fully independent. So Krishna is the source of fearlessness. And we have all heard that Bhajahure Shri Nanda Nandana Abhe Charanara Vindare. So Krishna is making all his devotees fearless. He is fully independent. And if he likes, he could be fearful. And we cannot understand this. It will be bewildering for us with our mundane intelligence. But with faith, we can accept the inconceivable potencies of Krishna. And for the sake of Leela, his Leela Shakti of the Lord, loving pastimes, especially in Vrindavan, he performs all of them just to increase the love of his devotees and increase the sweetness of his love for the devotees, which is ever increasing. And Krishna assumes so many apparent contradictions just for that. And continuing this apparent contradiction, I would like to share. So what I am sharing with you is the bewildering pastimes and as Queen Kunti is praying. So all these pastimes, they came that when I was reading these verses, I just thought of all of them. So I would like to share with you few more pastimes and which are like very dear and my favorite. So one time Krishna was stealing butter in the house of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maiya. And as he was stealing the butter, there was a jeweled pillar. And he saw his own reflection on the jeweled pillar. And he started talking. He started chastising actually. He started chastising his reflection. He said, I am not stealing butter. I am not stealing butter. He said, actually, don't tell my mother that you saw me stealing butter. I promise you, if you don't tell my mother, I'll share the butter with you. And Yashoda Maiya was at a little distant. She was a little distant place watching all of this, what Hargopal is doing. And she was so happy. She was smiling. And she came into the room. And Krishna had his hands full of butter. When she came into the room, he had his hand full of butter. And Krishna, as soon as he saw Yashoda Maiya, he said, Maiya, I'm not stealing butter. I'm not a thief. I'm not a thief. He is a thief. And he pointed to his reflection in the pillar. He said, he came to steal butter. And I told him, you cannot steal this butter. And I tried to prevent him from stealing butter. And Maiya, he became very angry with me. And to protect your butter, Maiya, I became very angry with him. But I did not steal any butter. That's how he defended his case. And in another time, Yashoda Maiya was just out in the courtyard and she happened to see Krishna with his hand in the butter pot, eating butter, caught red-handed. And she came in the room and Krishna, when he saw his mother, he said, I am not stealing butter. I am not stealing butter. And Yashoda Maiya, she said, then what are you doing? What are you doing? If you are not stealing butter, his hand was still in the pot. And Krishna says, oh, you know my bangles. They have the rubies. You put the bangles on me. I did not put them on. You put the bangles on me. And these rubies are so hot that they are burning me. They are burning my hand. So I had to put my hand in the butter pot to cool from the burning experience. And Yashoda Maiya was so proud that Krishna, he's so intelligent, his Gopal is so intelligent. And she took Krishna's hand out of the butter pot and she took off the bangles, started kissing his hands and saying, I won't put any more rubies on you, my Gopal, because I don't want to burn your hands anymore. And once this happened, that gopis came to Yashoda Maiya complaining that Yashoda Maiya, sometimes even our husbands, they see Krishna stealing the butter and right in front of them, they say that, Krishna, you are a thief. And Krishna just says, you are a thief. And he laughs and he runs away. Amazing, right? So how could Krishna be a thief? So bewildering, right? He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. How could he be a thief? We have to understand that this is simply loving exchange or a rasa. After all, Krishna is, we read that Bhoktaram Yagyatapsam Sarva Loka Maheshwara. Krishna is the supreme proprietor of everything that exists. All butter, it already belongs to Krishna. He is not stealing, but he appears to steal just to increase the love of his devotees. For his devotees, he becomes Makhan Chor, butter thief. Bewildering, right? And continuing our bewildering pastimes, gopis, while complaining to Yashoda Maya, once they complained that sometimes Krishna goes to the cleanest place in our house and he passes urine and stool. Now the acharyas have different interpretations of this. Why would Krishna pass urine and stool? So isn't it so bewildering and already so human? And acharyas, they thought, they have interpreted like maybe he would bring the monkeys to do it and pretend that it was him. But even if he did it, Krishna is so pure that anything that is coming from Krishna is completely pure. He doesn't need to do these things. It is all just Leela. So how many times in our life have we passed urine? How many books have been written about it? How many songs have been sung about it? How many people they are weeping in ecstasy that, wow, reading, thinking about it. Krishna, one time he passed urine in the house of a gopi and 5,000 years later, we are still talking about it. And there's been thousands and thousands of poems and books written about it. Devotees, they become purified from all miseries of material existence just thinking about it. And they attain the highest liberation. Krishna is Pavitra. He is supremely pure. And we say that, Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yasmarit Pundrikaksham Sabhaya Bhayam Trasichi. He is supremely pure. Whatever he does is completely pure. That is Krishna. In another bewildering pastime, we know that Krishna is absolute truth. But when Yashoda Maya, she asked Krishna that, Krishna, did you eat dirt? He said, no, I did not eat dirt. Your friends are saying you eat dirt. He said, they are liars. Even Balram, the original guru, he's saying you eat dirt. Balram's angry with me. He's trying to get me in trouble. I did not eat dirt. But according to Sukadev Goswami, we read that Krishna did eat dirt. Krishna is absolute truth. So how can the absolute truth lie? So bewildering, right? How can he lie? He's absolute truth. The absolute truth, Krishna cannot lie. But if he wants, he could lie. Actually, it is not a lie. But he is Krishna. Just to increase his motherly affection and just to increase his own reception of his mother's affection, he is speaking higher truths than what they are possible to conceive within the dualities of this material world. So Queen Kunti, highlighting the bewildering pastime that they are so misleading, she says that Na Veda Kaschit Bhagavam Stikirshitam, no one knows the purpose of your appearance and disappearance. The Vehamanasya Nirnam Vidamnam. The Lord's pastimes are bewildering. No one can understand their real purpose. So bewildering, right? And how we can understand all these bewildering pastimes? Krishna is so merciful. He is very merciful for our devotional service if it is done sincerely. So we must have faith. We have the choice every moment. Who are we going to have faith? In this world, nobody is faithless. Everyone has faith. The nature of the soul is to have faith. It is the nature of the soul to seek pleasure. Nobody is exempted or excluded from that. The question here is that where we are seeking pleasure, in serving Krishna or in serving our mind and senses. When I was going through this verse, which is bewildering pastimes, as mentioned in the chapter, as the chapter name in the teachings of Queen Kunti, this came like this important thought that, and I also heard that every moment we have a choice. And for me, I have the choice that where do I want to put my faith? Do I want to put my faith in the words of Krishna, in the words of our acharyas, in the words of shastras, in Guru, in Sadhu, in shastras, or in my mind and senses? Where do I want to put faith? And we should know that, sometimes we have question or doubt about faith, or we have doubt about Krishna consciousness. We have doubt about Krishna. So it is because we are putting too much faith in our own minds or in the minds of others who are propagating all sorts of these speculations. So it is either my mind or someone else's mind. We are putting the faith there. I am putting the faith there. That is why I doubt the faith, I doubt my faith, and I doubt the process, I doubt Krishna. That is why. So it is not that we are faithless. It is just a question that where we want to put our faith. In our supreme friend Krishna, or in our everlasting enemy, which is our mind, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, that the mind can be the best of friend or it can be the worst enemy. So I thought that for me personally, I need to analyze that where do I want to put my faith in the selfish, exploitative mind that is dragging me through this material world, birth after birth, that is dragging me through my anarthas, in my senses that are dragging me to the anarthas? Or do I want to put my faith in the beautiful threefold bending form of Shyam Sundar, Radha Muralidhar, Radha Govinda, playing his flute, doing their pastimes, attracting my heart to their eternal loving Leela, loving pastimes? Where do I want to put my faith? Do I want to put my faith in the great acharyas, in Srila Prabhupada, who gave his life in the selfless service of Krishna, delivering the message of Mahaprabhu? Where do I want to put my faith? In my Guru Maharaj, in the devotees, in Krishna's pastimes, or in the scientists who are working so hard just to make sure that they can prove that life comes from matter, or in the politicians or in the propagandists who are simply trying to get as much as they can for their own personal selfish interest? Where do I want to put my faith with the intelligence that I have? What choice do I have? So while reading these verses of Mother Kunti, I thought there's such an amazing thing that I could contemplate, meditate upon that. Where do I want to put my faith? It's not that today I am faithless, today I'm faithless, tomorrow I'll have faith. No, we are never faithless. It depends if I'm putting the faith in my own mind or in some speculation. Then the narthas come and drag me again and again, or just simply I want to put my faith in the words of my gurus. Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, doesn't matter. That's the choice that I thought I have at every moment. And before concluding, I would like to say that, first of all, when I discussed the pastime of Tirnavarta, saying how the gopis, they were, when their eyes were filled with dust, they were like, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? So it is not that they were fault finding. That is spiritual world. That is different. It is for us in this perverted, reflected material world that the lesson we can learn. So just wanted to highlight that it wasn't like that. And another thing is that, so today I just shared with you all that it is not that it is a bona fide or authoritative or thing that I am presenting. Yes, the words are as it is, that what I have heard from Srila Prabhupada's books. So it is from there, but I just through my own understanding, I just thought that, how this is how Queen Kunti must be meditating upon. So if I said anything wrong, or if it is not correct, then please let me know. And thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you for bearing me also and being here.
There's nothing to bear, Prabhu. You didn't actually take us to Vrindavan. You actually brought Vrindavan to all our homes. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And I can tell you that in the last 1 hour, you increased my love for Krishna, because I could see how much love you have for Krishna. And through that, whenever you spoke, somehow in my heart, I could feel my love for Krishna increase. So thank you for that. And then I'll quickly let others speak a little bit. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vishal Prabhu. Wonderful class. I mean, how the past 1 hour went, we couldn't understand. Even though this section is happening in Hastinapur, Krishna is leaving Hastinapur, you are connecting everything to Vrindavan, as Prabhupada mentioned. So it just goes to show how your heart is so much in Vrindavan and it is so much in Krishna's pastimes. Thank you very much. And wonderful, the way you connected everything to Krishna's pastimes, like the point about Samam Charantam Sarvatra, Krishna distributing his mercy equally. You connected it to the pastime of Ratnamala incarnating as Putana, and then Krishna's bewildering pastimes. So one thing I want to add is I had this question. I still have it, and it is unanswerable, just because of the fact that Krishna is inconceivable. So when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki, even in Krishna book there is a chapter, Prabhupada dedicated a chapter, prayers of the demigods to the Lord who is in the womb of Devaki. So in that, Prabhupada also writes very specifically that there is Brahma and there is Shiva. Okay, they are praying to Krishna in the womb of Devaki. Now this same Brahma, when he sees that Krishna is, he's giving his jhuta, he's tasting the food and he's giving that same to the gopas, and then taking that same, food from them, and everything is happening. He's going crazy. How can God be like this, right? So the same Brahma who was offering prayers to the Lord, who was in the womb of Mother Devaki, he got bewildered to such an extent by seeing Krishna's pastimes that the entire Brahma Vimohan Leela happened. And so it's really amazing that Krishna's pastimes are so bewildering. And mind you, Brahma is not an ordinary human being. I had read that just like our bodies are made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, Brahma's body is primarily made up of intelligence. It's not that he has all this body with all, flesh and bones, and there is one component of intelligence somewhere. No, his body is primarily made of intelligence. And such a kind of personality can be bewildered by Krishna's pastimes. So yeah, we can imagine what kind of potency Krishna's pastimes have. So just something. Yeah, and then you concluded with faith being the most important thing. This is really an amazing thing. I've been meditating on this faith aspect, and it's really profound. And as you said, ultimately we are where our faith is. If we put too much faith into our, into sources that are imperfect, then that will result into imperfect things happening, and in our lives, and yeah, us coming to imperfect conclusions. So yeah, very wonderful way to end it actually. uh, Starting, connecting the entire class to Krishna's pastimes, and then finally reinforcing the fact that we should be having faith in those pastimes and in Krishna and Guru Sadhu Shastra. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. You explained so nicely, better than me. Thank you for completing the class. I think it is now done.
Hare Krishna, Vishal Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. I thought it was amazing. You speak so fluidly, and I love how you tell the pastimes. I think you're a really great storyteller. Just even from the details of like the way you put the personality and the expression in like I love just how you tell the story of like Krishna saying it was like his reflection that like stole the butter, and then it was the rubies with when he was caught red-handed, and it just the pastimes are so sweet. And I really want to echo what Kumar Prabhu had said. Because you have love of Krishna, you're able to distribute it. And so you're able to touch the hearts of your hearers, your listeners, because you have that love as well. And I was really just inspired by your whole session. You spoke so much and so long and so fluidly, and I was present every moment. I thought it was just great. Even the Putana story, it was just fantastic. So thank you so much. I love your questions usually in all the sessions, but I do hope you speak more. It was just really great. Thank you so much. Haribo.
Thank you, Mataji. I just what I heard and what I read, I just shared as it is. So not even a single word I feel was mine. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for being present at every moment, as you said. You didn't have to, but thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. This is, it was such a wonderful class. Actually, Athena Mataji, Athena Mataji just said exactly what I wanted to say. You're such an amazing storyteller. You're, the intonations in your voice, you just take us there. The emotions and the feeling and the rasa. I could just feel every bit of it in every one of your stories. I could listen to you for hours and hours and hours, and not get tired, Prabhu. I don't know if it is because of you or because of the stories that you say, but both of them are really good. And so Krishna's pastimes are, you can hear the same pastimes over and over again, and you can enjoy them and relish them forever. So this was so wonderful. And your point about faith is something I personally have to work on and keep reminding myself. So I think you gave us a nice sutra to meditate and reflect upon on a regular basis, to say, where is our faith? Is our faith towards Krishna, or is our faith with our mind? Or and so that's something that we can reflect regularly, meditate upon. Thank you, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, it is for me also to learn, and definitely it was Krishna's pastimes, not me doing anything. And the words of our acharyas who have very nicely presented it, and what we hear in the lectures of senior devotees, and your humility, like after every class when I hear you. So it really inspires me and it melts my heart, Prabhu. So thank you for being there.
Hare Krishna, Vishal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
It was such an amazing class. Everybody was saying that, you're an amazing storyteller. And I realized that last time you mentioned, you gave the class. It was amazing how nicely you were able to tell stories. And this time you just taken it to the next level. It's like when you said that, oh, let's now go to Vrindavan, let's now go here. I was like, I was like mentally there, physically here, but you were taking us there. And Gaurukma Prabhu just rightly said, you actually brought the Vrindavan here. That's even a better understanding. What really struck me was the social intercourse part that you were mentioning about fault finding and dissension and quarrels. Every time this happens and when we complain about others or things that are happening around us, Trinavatara comes as a whirlwind, and we become devoid of Krishna. That was really hit me hard, because of late I've been a victim of complaining, and I felt like this was a message for me from from Krishna through your class, and thank you so much for me for this wonderful point that you brought us. And at many levels this class has opened up so many things for me. And thank you so much for your sincerity, your humility shows in your class, and then also the bewildering pastimes that you said. When you say it's really it's actually bewildering, and I just didn't realize how bewildering it is. But when you say it was like yeah, actually that is bewildering, and it's amazing how you connected all these things and brought the whole point together. And also I liked about other people said about the faith. It was nice. Thank you so much for grounding me. I needed to hear that message about the Trinavatara. Thank you so much. I really appreciate for that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. You are already mentally there. I didn't take you are already there. You're just relating to me. And also like Krishna giving message to you through me, that is between you and Krishna. I don't know what spiritual anxieties you guys are having. So that is between you.
It's completely material, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Vishal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you so much for a wonderful class. I've heard some of those stories I hadn't heard before, and some of them I had, but it felt like I had heard them all for the first time. You, as everyone has said, you speak so nicely, and your love for Krishna just shone through. Gaurav Kumar took the words out of my mouth. I was about to unmute before he spoke. I felt transported tonight. So thank you so much for such a wonderful class. Haribo.
Thank you, Paul Prabhu. I just didn't want to waste your time, so I'm happy that you are pleased. So
I just want to call out, read a few comments on the chat. Shreya Mataji says, thank you, Vishal Prabhu. Loved all the pastimes you shared today. Also really liked how you put the concept of always having faith. Vrinda Mataji is saying, thank you for the amazing class, Prabhuji. The way you narrated the pastimes played a beautiful picture of those pastimes in our minds. I particularly liked the part where you explained whether we have to put faith in Krishna or our minds. Vinay Prabhu is saying, Hare Krishna, Vishal Prabhu, you have natural attraction to the lotus feet and pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna because of your devotion and surrender to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. I felt that throughout your class. Thank you for amazing class. All glories to you. And Suman Prabhu says, Hare Krishna, Vishal Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Suman Prabhu has taken very nice name. Totally apt. Gyan.
Yes. He always takes different avatars every.
You didn't know that was Sumon Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, that's Suman Prabhu. So so Karan Prabhu, go ahead.
Yes, Vishal Prabhu, wonderful narration of pastimes, and everything what you all are seeing is like only this one hour what he spoke, but I have been seeing him for the past few weeks, how much intensely and with dedication he has been preparing and hearing lectures, making notes for hours together. He would sit and prepare with so much dedication. I was just wondering, like I was eager, like what Prabhuji is preparing for.
What's gonna come out?
Want to hear. I'm going to hear this again. I could not do justice today. I'm going to hear this again. Thank you, Prabhu, for inspiring.
No need.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Hare Krishna, everyone. I'll just take 5 more minutes. There's one very, very important announcement that I want to make, and I want to invite you all also for something very, very important. So it's always said that actions speak louder than words. So it's easy to speak big things, give big classes or speak nice things, but Vishal Prabhu has gone way beyond it, and his actions are showing. So very soon, in fact, this coming Friday and 2 days from now, we'll be getting the keys for an apartment which will be dedicated to further outreach of Krishna consciousness to students. We're planning to call it the Krishna House. So we have the blessings of Yugal Kishore Prabhu, and under his guidance, this is happening. And the person taking the main role is none other
Prabhu.
than
Jai.
our Vishal Prabhu. He single-handedly found the apartment. He single-handedly decided to stay in the apartment, even if nobody else stays. It's not a small amount to get an apartment in Brooklyn, very close to the NYU campus. I will be sending you the address very soon on the WhatsApp group. But I am just blown away by the amount of surrender, by the amount of faith, and most importantly, by the amount of detachment that he has. And it's not easy to just, when everything is going well, he has a nice apartment, nice roommates, everything in New Jersey, to completely, and by the way, he just moved to that apartment, to give up all that, single-handedly take on this huge project of running a whole Krishna house, moving to Brooklyn is not easy. So this is an amazing thing that you have done, Prabhu. And in that regard, I just want to invite all of you, whoever can, this Sunday, so we're getting the keys on Friday, we'll move in on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we plan to have a small welcome ceremony where we'll do it just with Kirtan, just with holy names. And then we'll speak a little bit, but mostly it's going to be Kirtan and some amazing prasad. So if anybody would like to come that day, you can. It's actually very close to the subway lines. I'll send you the address. It's on Prospect Park, actually, right across from Prospect Park, a very convenient location. And somehow by Krishna's arrangement, there's so many things that I saw over the last month and a half, where I felt it was totally Krishna's loving hand. I mean, where can you get a 2-floored apartment in Brooklyn? And it so happened that we got this with a basement, an apartment on the first floor with a basement. And the entire basement is completely open, and it's ideal for programs. And it has a separate door also to the basement. So somehow by Krishna's arrangement, everything has been happening very, very smoothly. Everything has been happening by Vishal Prabhu's effort, actually. In one sense, it's easy for me to sit here and say this happening smoothly, but he's been putting in a lot of effort, lot of planning. Everything has gone into it. And I just pray and hope and pray, and I request all of your prayers also, that somehow we can give Krishna to more suffering souls and help other students and other people through this small project. And one thing I can say, whether it succeeds or not, Vishal Prabhu has made tremendous growth in his spiritual life just by taking the step, just by surrendering to Yugal Kishore Prabhu, to Maharaj on this project. He's taken leaps and bounds of steps towards Guru and Krishna. And I can feel it in my heart, actually, that he's getting the mercy. So I'm very, very proud of you, Prabhu. I don't know what else to say. I'm very, very proud of you. Thank you. Very well. So, so the time.
Let me say.
So I just want to say one more thing. So the time, it's going to be at 6 o'clock. We can all meet Sunday evening, and we'll just have kirtans, and then we'll speak for about 15 minutes, and then we'll have prasad. So that's the plan. So if anybody can make it on Sunday, that will be great. So thank you all very much. We don't even know if we'll have internet at that time, so we may not be able to have Zoom session, but whoever can make it in person, please let me know beforehand so that we can arrange prasad. So anyway, I'll be putting all this on the WhatsApp. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jitendra Prabhu, go ahead.
I'll work on the internet if required. I'll make sure that this goes on Zoom somehow.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
I have a tripod stand. I have the phone, so
Oh,
we can
perfect.
tell something
Thank you.
if there is coverage, of course. So
Yeah, may I say now? So all that he said is just actually exaggerated in my name, because it's Yugal Kishore Prabhu, it's Kaur Kumar Prabhu totally doing it. In every step, Kaur Kumar Prabhu has been there. In every step, Karan Prabhu has been there. They just put me ahead and they just take step back and just give me the credit. So I just take it because if that's what pleases them, so I'm happy to take it. But honestly, it's not anything that I have done. I'm just following their instruction and what they are saying. So whatever he said, please forget it. Whatever class I gave, just remember that. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you all so much. It's almost 10:30. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Bye.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Krishna House ki jai. Hare Hare Krishna.